Amelia Dyer murdered over 400 infants within a 30-year period. She was around in the Victorian era, so late 1800s, and she was a qualified nurse turned baby farmer. So this basically meant that she took in infants for a one-off large payment. She would sell herself as a respectable, loving mother. She was married with 2 children of her own. She was a qualified nurse. However, she was anything but a caring mother. What she would do was she took these children in, these infants, usually babies, and just kind of left them to starve, and she would have taken their money. Later on, she actually does start to murder these children, so she would strangle them. She wouldn't just leave them to starve and neglect them, she actually initiated and murdered them. Although I suppose both ways are murder. She would call the doctor out to confirm the deaths of these children. However, the doctor started to become a bit suspicious as the amount she was calling him out. And conveniently, when anyone got suspicious, suddenly she had a mental breakdown. And she was then subsequently within a mental hospital, and therefore she couldn't be investigated. Although she quite possibly could have had some mental health issues, she did have substance abuse. She started to become addicted to alcohol and use opioids at the same time that she began murdering these infants. So after that experience with the doctor, she decides she's not going to call the doctor anymore. She's going to carry on doing what she's doing, but she's just going to dispose of the bodies herself. Because of this, she has to kind of frequently locate. So her family are constantly moving to avoid suspicion, because she's taking in all these children and they're just disappearing rather than being officially pronounced dead. She takes in a young baby, Doris Marmon, who is the illegitimate daughter of a local barmaid who's actually very popular. The barmaid puts an advert into the local paper, and actually alongside her advert is the advert that Amelia places to look after children. So Doris's mum rings her up. Well, probably doesn't ring her up, this is Victorian time, but you know what I mean, contacts her in some way and arranges a meeting. Initially, she's a little bit surprised by how kind of unkept Amelia is. She's won over and she decides to put Doris in Amelia's care. Now, Doris's mum keeps insisting that she wants to pay weekly payments for the upkeep of her daughter Doris. However, Amelia is very adamant that she wants a single large payment made to her. Now, you can kind of guess or sort of try and work out why this is. Maybe she didn't want frequent contact and therefore that would arouse more suspicion. She just wanted one payment to be done with and then gone. Doris's mother hands over Doris and returns home, and she is heartbroken. Days after Doris is dropped off to Amelia, Amelia strangles her, and she admits in court later on that she actually just likes to watch them as she strangles them. She then dumps Doris's body into the River Thames. Now, she has done this with a few babies, and a few days after this, a baby girl is found in sort of packaging. The detective managed to analyse the packaging, and that actually managed to get an address, which leads them to Amelia. When they knock on Amelia's door and she opens the door, apparently the stench of human decomposition was so strong. However, they didn't find any remains in that building. So along with her advertisement, some statements from mothers that have given their children to Amelia, they use their own decoy as well, the police, and they have a woman who's pretending that she's going to have a baby and that she's going to give it to Amelia. This is how they link her to many cases and how they prove that she is a baby farmer. She is arrested and charged, and later they find 11 other infant bodies in the River Thames. And unfortunately, Doris's mum does then identify her own baby girl. At this point, it is only 11 days after she gave Doris to Amelia. It took the jury 4.5 minutes to find Amelia guilty, and she is sentenced to be hung. Her last words before she is hung is, "I have nothing to say." This was outrage in the country. She was dubbed the Ogress of Reading, and it really reformed a lot of the kind of child adoption policies that were here in the UK. It wasn't as sort of blasé as putting an advert in a paper anymore. So that is the case of Amelia Dyer. If you like my content, please remember to like, subscribe and comment, and I'll see you in the next one.